Hey guys, it's S0ur, and in this video I'll share what I think are some of the best Scorestreak setups in this game, but what I'm more excited about is a relatively insignificant, but in my opinion, cool care package tip that will hopefully help you get better streaks. Like I said, not a big deal, not a game changer, but it's a cool piece of information to know. I was going back and forth for a while thinking about whether or not I should make a video talking about score streaks. I basically decided on, no need to make a video. Pretty sure everyone's already figured out their score streak setups by now. Tons of tips out there, and of course they have their own experience to go off of. But this cool observation I recently made with care packages basically drove me to make this video. I did a ton of Googling and I couldn't find anyone else even mentioning it. So let's get started. First of all, assault score streaks. I rarely run assault score streaks, and I'll tell you why later, but they can be a lot of fun to loop, especially in domination after the score streak buff, where you get a ton more points for regular kills, caps, and objective kills, basically everything. It got so much easier to loop through your score streaks. And that's actually what I do in this gameplay. I wasn't trying to do anything special. I actually had the ACOG on the HBR to go for long shots. I don't even like the sight, but I actually go on a 31 kill streak here, I believe. I'll show off the full bloodshed gear, including the shirt, at the end of the video. Anyway, this score streak setup that I have on screen probably used to be the best in the game back when the system hack cost 600 and 650 with the assist point module, but thank God they nerfed that. Unfortunately, it broke this awesome score streak loop, but that's alright. I'm glad it isn't being used on me anymore. Happy it's gone. I find this setup to be pretty good. An upside is that you don't have to waste the point for the streaker wildcard. It isn't as easy to just constantly go through your streaks because you have fewer assist points going, but it's alright, you'll get it occasionally. You could swap out for something like the warbird if you like. I personally prefer the drone. The missiles on this thing are awesome. If you've never tried it, you're missing out. While the warbird goes away so fast, has a weak gun, and can't even fly inside buildings like this awesome little drone can. Then you could also try going up to the high streaks. I think this setup could be fun. Not very practical, but who knows, could be awesome if you get on a roll in domination. In terms of the other assault score streaks, I don't see much value in this stuff. The Vulcan and the missile strike, well, the Vulcan can be awesome if you stack a bunch on it, but all of a sudden it costs 1100 points, and I can have my extra time paladin for 50 more points. Yeah, I'll take the paladin, thanks. The missile strike can also be awesome with the nano swarm. You'll rarely ever get a kill with it, but it's epic at holding down something like a momentum flag. That dome covers the entire flag and basically guarantees it isn't going to be taken by the enemy for the duration of the nano swarm, because who runs hardwired, honestly? Let's be honest, you need toughness and blast suppressor from most classes, although in TDM, the missile strike is basically worthless anyway, and in general, just not worth this amount of points in my opinion. So yeah, the Goliath, not terrible, but not great either. It's kind of weak and a bit expensive. And finally, if you got the warbird and you add the extra time that it kind of needs, yeah, you know what I'm going to say now. It's just 100 points off the extra time paladin. No thanks. So moving on, let's leave the assault streaks behind and move on to the support stuff. Of course, anything can be an assault streak, but you know what I mean. Only 4 streaks can be made into support streaks. The Recon drone, UAV, care package, and the remote turret. Kinda seems like a waste to have something that can be support be used as an assault streak. Anyway, I love this setup. It's basically what I always use. I can have the turret or not, depending on if I want the extra point to use somewhere else in my class, because it's alright, but not the greatest. The reason I'm basically always running support streaks, and I've said this before, I think, it's not that I'm completely incapable of earning assault streaks, but the UAV and the care package are awesome, and it frees me up to rush the objective and play aggressively. If I'm 50 points off my bombing run, which might lead to my system hack, which might lead to my paladin, I probably won't rush that flag and run into a storm of grenades. I'll probably play a bit more conservatively, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to have to worry about my current kill streak. I just want to play the game and have a score streak waiting for me every so often. I also run around with crappy guns most of the time for challenges and camos, so if I'm going for assault streaks all the time with the EPM3 and the AMR9, I'm probably going to drive myself into quite the rage. And the UAV and the care package are awesome anyway, so I'm really not sacrificing much. So the UAV, of course, it is a staple, and this is my selfish setup right here. Extra points and extra time. This will maximize your points. So if you're playing alone and have no problem being a dick, feel free to run this. But if you're playing to win, you'll probably want to have threat detection on there. I think everyone already agrees that threat detection is an awesome module. You can see everyone through walls, and then you can go with either speed or extra time. They both do very similar things. This will give you more pulses by speeding them up, and this will give you more pulses by extending the time. So either of those. Then the care package, probably the best score streak in the game. I love running it with better odds in double tap. The trap trap can get people sometimes, but rarely if they know what they're doing. If you don't know, you can check an enemy care package and see if it's a trap by quickly pressing to open it, then letting go of the button. If the bar moves slowly, it's real. If it zooms by super fast, then it's a trap. Bonus tip there for you guys. And it's actually pretty useful because you used to be able to avoid all damage from care package traps by simply being prone, but I think they changed that so that you will die if you open a trap. So it's always good to use this trick to check first. Anyway, with this module setup, you get a lot of good streaks. The chances of you controlling something fun like a Goliath, a Warbird, a Paladin, and so on are pretty good every other game or so. Plus, awesome mini care package double tapping tip coming up. I'll just finish off with the turret here. The support and sentry are necessary. Then I go back and forth between the rocket and the 360 turret head. They can both be pretty good for different things. I will say, controlling the turret is somewhat underrated, I think. I know it takes you out of the game, which is usually not great, but if you set it up to overlook a momentum flag or something, you can fire missiles at it non-stop and kill those pesky blind eye users that think they're safe. If you use it like that, then you can get tons of kills. Last score streak I haven't really talked about is the Recon drone. This thing I used to hate because I didn't find it too helpful and it took you completely out of the game for so long. I felt helpless watching enemies take objectives while I'm flying around in this dumb thing, while it feels like I should be rushing. Although I must say, I'm used to the modules that come out of this thing in care packages. If you don't know, the modules that come in care packages on your streaks aren't completely random. There are a few presets that can happen, and I'll go in depth with that in just a bit, but in care packages you never get the modules that give you flash marking and EMP grenades, and let me tell you, those are very annoying. If you sit on an objective and spam the hell out of flash marking and EMP grenades, even on people that are already marked, they will hate you. So that's a thing. The AR HUD is also good. If you don't know what that does, it just highlights enemies with the traditional red boxes or hexagons or whatever they are in this game. I'm having trouble picturing it. But anyway, if you feel that you want to use this drone, I would suggest flash marking and EMP grenades. So you'll be that guy, but it will probably help your team quite a bit. So I've given my opinions on all the streaks in the game. Now on to perhaps what you came here for, a little piece of knowledge that helps me and should help you get better streaks out of your care package. And I don't want to be misleading, I'm trying to word this correctly, and I feel like even that overstates this tip. I'm sorry if you're disappointed, but I was probably too excited when I made this breakthrough. I'm sure there will be the 1% that says this was super obvious to them from the beginning, but it took me 10 prestiges to notice this, and I don't compliment myself often, but I like to think I'm a pretty observant guy. I'm naturally introspective. I usually see some things that people don't pick up on, and I was amazed by this little thing. So let's stop dodging it, shall we? One day, I thought to myself, you know, it sure would be nice if the care package displayed not just what streak I'm getting, like the UAV, the Warbird, the system hack, but also displayed what modules are on it. Because like I briefly mentioned earlier, the modules that come in care packages on your streaks aren't completely random. There are a few presets that can happen, such as with the missile strike. It seems like I always either get extra missile or extra missile and nanoswarm. So I wished that it displayed what modules were on the thing, because if it has nanoswarm, I may not reroll the streak. If it doesn't, then I would want to reroll. Then I noticed occasionally that when you reroll a package, it sometimes rerolls into the exact same streak, and I'm kind of like, well, what the heck? I got rid of a UAV for a UAV. What changed? Well, probably the modules, but who knows if the first or the second one was better. Then I suddenly noticed a pattern, and after tons of testing it, I haven't found an exception to the rule yet, so I'm rolling with it. I noticed that the color of the icon above the care package actually does indicate what modules it has. I don't know why it took me so long to notice this, because it seems really obvious. The icon can be 3 colors: green, blue, and orange. These colors correspond with the loot rarities in this game: green for enlisted, blue for professional, and orange for elite. And these colors will tell you if you have 1, 2, or 3 modules. In case you've got the wrong idea, this doesn't just apply to the care packages that you get out of supply drops. I know those actually have a color rarity associated with them, but this trick applies with all care packages. So I'll show this gameplay here. I call in my care packages, and when it arrives, it's a green or enlisted missile strike. Knowing what I know about missile strikes and care packages, if I picked this up, I guarantee it would be a missile strike with the extra missile module. Now I double tap it, and look at that, it turns into a blue missile, which means that it's going to have an extra missile and the nano swarm. And look at that, when I pick this one up, sure enough, it does. I'll show a couple more clips. You can see here that I get an orange UAV IV, which means it has 3 modules. I double tap it and get lucky. Now I have an orange system hack, which also has 3 modules. When I pick it up, you can see it does indeed have the disable streaks module, which is quite an expensive one to equip and can be quite powerful. I don't get system hacks and care packages very often, but I believe you can get a blue one as well, which does not have the disable streaks module, so this was a lucky drop. I'll call in one last example here on Instinct. You can see that it comes in as a recon drone with 2 modules, and I turn it into a bombing run with 1 module. So I didn't get lucky and score the bombing run that comes with the additional bomber module, but I will take it over a recon drone. So there you have it. I hope this isn't super common knowledge and I'm being an ignorant fool getting so excited about it, but I think this is really cool little bit of information to know, and like I said, not game changing, but this often helps me decide when to double tap something and when to keep it, whereas before I was often unsure. And right here at the end of the video, like I said, I'd show off the full bloodshed armor in case you haven't had a chance to see it. You get it of course by going on a 30 kill streak, except for the bloodshed shirt, which I was very lucky to get in the very next game with a bombing run. You need a fury kill, that is 4 rapid kills, and I'm very happy I earned that while I still had the full bloodshed gear, because back then it was much harder to earn the stuff like double kills and triples and frenzies and so on. Now with the most recent patch, it's much easier to get multi-kills. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope something about it was helpful, and I hope most of all that that little care package color tip was new information to you and I didn't hype it up to be a major letdown. But thanks for watching, and I will catch you next time.